Good morning, Commissioners. This is the public hearing of November 18th, 2014. Chair Srinivasan. Here. Commissioner Shamir Barron. Commissioner Bland.
Here.
Commissioner Chapin. Commissioner Devonshire.
Here.
Commissioner Goldblum.
Here.
Commissioner Gustafson.
Here.
Commissioner Moore. Commissioner Washington.
Okay, the first 7 items are going to be one presentation, so they are items number 1 through 7, docket numbers 16-0850, 16-0851, 16-0852, 16-0853, 16-0854, and 16-0856, and 16-0857. And this is for an application for a binding report at 445, 451, 455, 461, 465, 471, and 481 East 140th Street in the Mott Haven East Historic District, Block 2285, lots 69, 58, 61, 63, 64, 66, and 67, neo-Renaissance style tenements designed by George F. Pelham and built in 1902 to 03, and this is an application to replace windows.
Good morning, Marianne Hurley, Preservation staff. These tenements, the new law tenements, are located on the north side of East 140th Street between Willis and Brook. And currently, the stairwell windows are replacement either aluminum with clear glass or wood with fiberglass. Also, the aluminum have a grill over it, supposedly to prevent the balls from breaking the glass. Anyway, the proposal is to install new aluminum 1/1 double-hung windows in the stairwell, with the exception of there is one existing stained glass remaining in the stairwell in one of the apartments. When the buildings were originally built in 1900, they actually had stained glass in all the stairwells. So, Susanna Therian is here, who will continue.
Good morning. I'm the architect of record for these 7 buildings, and the owner is here with me as well. And they own 7 buildings on the block. There are 8 buildings which are identical and that are landmarked. And they got a grant from HPD for a limited amount of funds to improve the buildings. All these buildings have affordable housing in the buildings, and it's a safe, clean, good place for people to be. With this renovation, we're repairing all the windows, and we hope that, over time, work has been done in these buildings, and nothing is consistent. We hope that with this renovation, the roofing will all be done properly, all the windows and all the sides and throughout the building. Except the center bay of windows is which we're here to present, which had stained glass, which we know is impossible and really expensive to replicate, especially since this building all this work is based on grants from the city. So we're here to ask if we could just put regular aluminum windows on the stairs.
Is it only the stairs that?
Only the rest of it has already been approved at staff level. And that didn't have stained glass windows. These stairs had stained glass windows, so that's what we're looking to replace right now.
Right.
None of them remain except for this one sash.
Yes, and we'll keep that sash of,
Okay, are there any questions? Yes, Adi.
I live in a Pelham building, designed by Pelham, Irving Place, and the windows are always the issue. What were these originally? Sorry.
I heard you.
What were the windows originally?
These were the windows
I
originally
understand.
at the stairs.
I'm just curious about all of the windows. They were not aluminum windows in 1900.
No,
so
I
what
think
were
they
they?
were wood windows.
Were they
Yes.
wood?
Yes. Yeah.
And so the stained glass would have been in a wood frame as well, and is still.
It is in a wood frame.
All right, any other questions? Okay, we'll take testimony. Barbara Zay.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barbara Zay of the Historic Districts Council. These beautiful buildings are amongst the very few to benefit from landmark protection in the South Bronx. While the replacement of aluminum windows with aluminum windows is not a bad intervention per se, HDC feels that these buildings deserve better. Wood windows, or at least wood-clad aluminum windows, would be a more fitting and long-lasting option. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any more speakers on this item? All right, no other speakers. Do you want to respond to that, the comment that they made?
You know, it is, we are putting wood windows at the top floor, the arched windows. But these are stair windows, and if we have children running up and down, people, it's going to withstand a bit. In fact, what is existing right now, the stair windows are in the worst condition of all the other windows. So to put them back and make them wood would, you know, expose them to more wear and tear than the other buildings, and they would, you know, fit in the budget better.
Okay.
The staff has already approved aluminum replacement windows in the other windows, and the only reason this is before you is because of the stained glass, that historically it was the stained glass window, but the new aluminum windows in the stairwell would match the already approved aluminum windows elsewhere on the facades.
Right, and just to clarify that the only reason it's coming before us is because they're not putting back the stained glass windows. It's not about the remaining windows, it's just about the fact that the stained glass windows in 6 of the buildings cannot be brought back to its historic condition of stained glass. That is, of course, a very, very expensive proposition for really buildings that are being funded by HPD and affordable housing. So it's not really about the aluminum windows versus the wood window frames.
But
Yes.
Could be.
Just so I understand, the stained glass windows in the other 5 buildings don't exist.
They don't exist. Right, they're gone.
It's not where, like, they're out there, we're not.
Right.
They don't, they're gone.
There's only one sash.
I understand.
Right. I think this is very straightforward, and I think we should support it. Any concerns?
I would just say
Yes.
they should save this one and put it somewhere safe in case
I think they're going to
life changes and.
They're going to retain the stained glass window where it is right now.
Oh, but you're asking us to. Put it in.
No, they're not. They're keeping the yes, just to clarify, the stained glass window is going to remain where it is. It's the change. Yes, because the way the rules are written do not allow us to replace where stained glass windows were in the other 5 buildings or 6 buildings. That if they were going back to stained glass, it wouldn't be here. So.
Sorry,
Are you?
one more time, clarify for me.
Okay.
About the rest of the windows
Okay,
that
all
were
the-
once wood and were
All of
became
the- yes.
aluminum when?
All of those were approved and can be approved at staff level.
So even prior to
None of the-
designation, all of the windows have been replaced with modern
That's
aluminum
what I want to know.
replacement.
Prior to designation.
Since
Thank you.
designation, the staff has approved replacing the modern aluminum replacement windows with new aluminum replacement windows, with the exception of this line, because stained glass is identified as a special window, and therefore the staff cannot approve aluminum replacement there. So the application before you is for the replacement of modern aluminum windows in the stair windows, which formerly had stained glass, with a new aluminum window that will match the aluminum windows approved elsewhere on the facade.
I think something like this should be done at staff level. And I think we should think about situations where you have windows that have been grandfathered and how to replace them over time and whether they always need to come back to the commission. I'd love to hear your comments on that, but we can think about that later. All right, any concerns with this particular case?
Well, I
Yes,
just want to say
Adi?
that, you know, the argument that because it's affordable housing, or the fact that the funding is somehow limited, means that this should not have wood windows or should not have stained glass windows, is, I think, that's not a good argument.
But just to clarify that
Buildings in the South Bronx should have the same kind of
All right, but
attention to detail. But I do agree that since this replacement of the wood windows happened before designation, we need to deal with what's there and replace, the windows just as they had been replaced, I suppose, with the aluminum windows. It's tough to go back into what the building should have been like before the designation, but that otherwise, You know, it's an important building,
Right,
and
but also
the
we should
stained
just-
glass is critical to the building.
Right, but we should just clarify, the staff rules allow the change. So there are two issues here, and we should keep them somewhat separate. So one is the issue of the stained glass windows. The second is the replacement of designation aluminum windows for aluminum windows. That is being done at staff level. So the question of whether we should have replaced aluminum windows for wood windows really isn't kind of on the table.
I understand that.
And that is already taken, that the rules are written that way. It's done, I think, by the staff, and it's been done for decades. The issue of the stained glass window, I mean, I know that you have some concern, but it's already in the rules, and that is where the commission has been functioning. So I don't think we're going to sort of reevaluate whether that's appropriate or not. I think there's enough situations where it has, in fact, considered to be no effect and done at staff level. The issue with the stained glass window is one that is not only about, I think, whether the fact that it's an affordable housing project, but I think also historically the Commission has allowed situations where there were originally stained glass windows. The stained glass windows do not exist, and as a practical matter, it's very hard to get stained glass windows back. So the proposal over here is very consistent with what the Commission has allowed in many places, not only in the Bronx, but in Manhattan, and it's not necessarily a situation where it's based on the fact that these are HBD buildings versus a private home. So I would just say that this is very consistent with what we've done as a commission in the past.
Aluminum windows to replace wood windows all the time.
That's right.
We do it all the time. All right, so if there are no other concerns, we can, why don't we close the hearing? Okay, Michael, do you want to read it? Thanks.
Okay. Regarding 160850, 160851, 160852, 160853, 160854, 160856, and 160857, 445, 451, 455, 461, 465, 471, and 481 East 140th Street in the Mott Haven East Historic District. The application is to replace windows. I recommend approval, finding that the existing stained glass upper sash window at the second floor of 481 East 140th will be retained. No other significant architectural features will be lost or damaged as a result of the proposed work. That the new 1/1 double-hung windows will match the historic windows that were in other window openings on the facades in terms of the configuration, operation, details, dimensions, and finish. That the historic wood frames and brick molds will be repaired or replaced to match the historic condition. That while the proposed windows will not replicate missing stained glass windows that were historically found in these sterile windows, the new windows will match the historic windows that were used elsewhere in the building and create a harmonious condition on this building, and that the work will not detract from the special architectural historic character of the buildings or the historic district.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? The application's been approved.
Okay, item number